Good morning. My name is Renate and I'm a recovering sex addict. It's a real pleasure to be here this morning in the midst of people from all over the world. What went through my mind just a few minutes ago is I've always suffered from terminal uniqueness and terminal seriousness, and it's nice to know that there's sex addicts outside of the state of Utah. When I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you today, I naturally wanted to share with you some of my experiences. It's difficult to share 38 years of experience in 10 minutes. And I was looking down at the 12 promises, and that's where I am today in my life more than I used to be, or was even aware of, is I'm living in the solution as much as I possibly am able to, as long as I turn it over to Him. To give you a brief synopsis of my life, I was born into a very dysfunctional family, became very addicted to violence, abuse, shame, abandonment. I became a very compulsive, addictive person. I didn't think I was loved by anyone, and that included God. I wanted to share with you some of my addiction and how I chose to act it out sexually. At a very young age, I masturbated. I don't recollect the exact age, but I know it was close to around 5 years old, because at the age of 5, I was forced into adulthood. I came into this world as a child, but I wasn't treated as a child because my parents didn't know that it was okay for me to be a kid. They didn't know that either, that it was okay for them to be children, so they couldn't teach me something they didn't know. So immediately my spontaneity and creativity dwindled, what little I had. I continued the act of masturbation, and at a young age I would sexually act out by telling dirty jokes and hanging around with people who did the same thing. Got involved in sex at a very early age with my best girlfriend's boyfriend, and during my adult years I was sexually promiscuous with a number of men, some of them married, and by the time I was 25 I was involved in prostitution, and when I bottomed out on that, I really got into the drugs and the alcohol. And needless to say, I bottomed out on being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I ended up in Adult Children of Alcoholics, eventually got into AA, and then SA. And this is where I am today. It took shedding the layers one at a time for me. And I finally came to the realization after spending a little time with my family of origin this past Christmas holiday that I needed to leave my family. That I needed no contact with my family because they were so sick and they chose to stay in denial. They did not want to take a look at themselves. And I made the conscious decision to leave home. And that's been the most painful thing for me to do. Take away all the alcohol, all the drugs, all the sex, all the relationships, the clothes, everything that I was addicted to. The family was where I was the most addicted because as long as I was around them, I didn't know who I was. And that's where I am today, is I'm getting in touch with my abandonment, how I was severely abandoned as a child, both emotionally and physically. And the verbal abuse and the overt and covert sexual abuse is so prevalent, is so crystal clear to me now. Because the more I get in touch with who I am, the more I can see what's going on out there, especially in my own family. And that scares the hell out of me. That scares me when I know that I grew up in that. But because of all this awareness and all this understanding, where I am today is I feel more peace than I've ever had in my life. And that's what's in the promises. It says, number 4, we will know peace. I actually know what peace is today. I didn't have an idea. I thought peace was going out and getting laid. I thought that was what it was all about. But that didn't work for me. I'm finding out that suffering is optional. That if I choose to suffer, it's my choice, it's nobody else's. I wanted to briefly share with you what I'm doing and being today to stay sober. Over the Christmas holidays, I had an experience to go to 2 different movies. One was called The Working Girl, and naturally in my intellectual mind, I thought they were doing my story. I thought, oh, gee, we're going to go watch prostitutes. Well, this is great. Well, as it turned out, it was a scene on the screen of sexually acting out people, and I thought, well, gee, we must all agree with this, folks, if we're going to sit here and watch all this stuff. By the time I left the movie, I was feeling so much lust, I thought, why am I going to dump this? I went and had some sugar. I didn't know what else to do. The guy I was with is in recovery. He's not willing to admit his sexual addiction. So I had to share with him what was going on for me. This is toxic. I'm not comfortable with this. A couple of days later, I went to a movie called The Land Before Time. It's the cutest animated cartoon show I'd seen in a long time because I just don't watch cartoons. But it was the journey of life. And I was finding out that the difference between the 2 movies is where I got in touch with my peace. The Working Girl allowed me to get in touch with the issues that I don't want in my life anymore. I don't want to have to keep banging my head against the wall and deal with the lust. The Land Before Time got me in touch with peace because I was able to sit in the middle of that show and cry. Because it felt so good to cry. Because that's what my life is all about, is getting in touch with my feelings. Because I suppressed them for so many years. I didn't even know it was okay to cry. I don't remember my parents telling me that it was okay to cry. I don't remember being told it's okay to get angry. But now I have choices today, and I choose to be who I am. Scared, hurt, angry. And I need to let go and find out that this is who I am, and it's okay. I've always been afraid to be involved with men, and now I know why. Because I always acted out the destructive, violent, abusive relationship that I had with my dad. But I am so grateful for where I am today because it is true. My concept of who my higher power is so clear to me, and we talk all the time. I came into this world as a child. I'm going to leave as a child. Because for me to get back to where my higher power is, I need to be honest, open, vulnerable. I need to be real. That's what the real connection is for me. To feel. To know that it's okay to walk up to somebody and say, I'm hurt. That I'm feeling abandoned. That I'm angry. And to know that that person is going to say, I accept you. That's okay. As I look over the audience and I see mostly men, I remember 2 years ago I wouldn't have had the courage to do what I'm doing today. I didn't want to cry in front of men because my dad always said, don't cry, don't be a crybaby. And I was afraid that I was going to get that back from a man. But in this program, I see real people, men that are willing to share and feel. Because this program teaches me that I can't do it alone. I've been doing it alone for years and it never worked. I am finding out the child within me is creative, spontaneous, willing to be real, wants to play, and I'm more aware that the addictive adult is leaving, is fighting so hard to stay inside of me, is struggling so hard and doesn't want to let go. The familiar is becoming unfamiliar. And that's taken a while for me to see and understand. And I'm grateful to you, all of you, because I know that fellowship is a valuable part of this program. My higher power is who got me here. And my willingness to change is what keeps me coming back. Thank you.